What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If this isn't a welcome back and this is your first time on the channel, what's up? My name's Chris. I like basketball, I don't know if you could tell, and I know how to read. I also have this new expensive mic thing and I don't know how to use it. Like, what am I gonna say my thing into? Alleged? Like, that just doesn't make allegedly. I'm recording this intro after I recorded my first clip of the day, so we're gonna cut to that real quick and then we'll come back. Good morning, y'all. It's about like 8:30 a.m. or it's about to be 8:30 a.m. I just wanted to record this because I'm pissed. If you watch my waking up at 5 a.m. and reading all day video, I've been reading, or at least listening, to an audiobook called Chaos, which is about Charles Manson and the CIA, and it's by Tom Neal, and it's really good. So yesterday I did a lot of listening. I was around the apartment just doing stuff. I was at home all day. I was like, let me get a big chunk of this done. So I did. I wake up this morning, I'm about to go to the gym. I'm like, man, I got 25 minutes of this audiobook left. I'm gonna finish it. I get this email from Spotify. And then it's like, oh, I can add some more hours. You're almost done with a book. You can finish it, no biggie. Awesome. Then I see this. $12.99? So I'm disappointed because now I have to wait like a month to finish 25 minutes of an audiobook. So I'm gonna have to go to the gym and listen to music like a dweeb. I will probably be going on Libby to try and find something else that I can read. This just sucks. Bad way to start the day. All right, y'all, so I'm back from the gym. I changed. I was gonna say that we got a lot to do today, but we really don't. Yesterday I was going to film this video, so I ended up doing a lot of like around the apartment stuff that I needed to get done. So today really all it is laundry, which it is a lot of laundry, and then gas that I have to get. So at some point I will have to leave the apartment. But I also have this thing. This is the Hollyland Mark II wireless recording like lav mic thing. I'm really excited about this. As I've kind of been trying to pour more of myself into this YouTube channel and into making videos, I've really just wanted to kind of invest in myself, and this is like a pretty big investment for me. This was about, I think, like $130. I tested it out yesterday in a video that will probably never see the light of day. I don't know which videos I've talked about it, but I know I have talked about it, about my roommate and I going to New York in January, and I'm really excited about that. But while we're over there, I'm really excited to be able to make videos in kind of an environment that isn't, you know, my apartment, right? So I really want to, for lack of a better term, kind of just like step my game up so that by the time that we get to New York and we get to making videos in New York, I'm kind of in a place where like I know how all my equipment works and things like that. And so I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to not have to hold the mic. So I checked, right? I checked to see if Chaos was available on Libby, and it is. Oh my God, imagine my surprise. Why wouldn't it be? Of course, it is available on Libby. So I'm gonna have to find something else to read. I have some stuff on my laptop that I have to do, and then just tidying the room up. And then it's probably gonna be like a full day of reading. I'm not even sure what I'm gonna read yet. I have options, but hopefully we can figure that out kind of as the video goes along. So I'm gonna journal, I'm gonna get my kind of to-do list for the day all set up, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna read. Can't forget the Breakfast of Champions. Though, what you mean? No free promo. So I think I'm in a really interesting point, right? Like, I'm getting close to the end of my physical TBR that I own, and I'm also running out of short books to read. These are probably the 3 shortest books I have, which if you've been following the channel for a little bit, you've known that I've been talking about these books for the past few videos. You have Pimp by Iceberg Slim, the story of my life. This is the story of Iceberg Slim's life as he saw, felt, tasted, and smelled it. A trip through hell by the one man who lived to tell the tale, the dangers of jail, addiction, and death that are still all too familiar. By telling the story of one man's struggles and triumphs in an underground world, Pim shows us that the game doesn't change, it just has a different swagger. I heard about this book in one of Dave Chappelle's comedy specials, and I know for a fact Dave Chappelle has said some not so nice things recently, but his whole 30-minute kind of like story alongside of this book made me want to read it and pick it up. I picked it up a few years ago. I think I gave it initially, oh wow, I still have the page bunny-eared or whatever it's called. I made it to page 25. This is like a 3-year-old bunny ear. And I remember enjoying it. I remember not disliking it, I'll say that. So I know that this is going to be at least a decent read that I just haven't gotten a chance to get to yet. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I know everyone read this in high school when they were supposed to read it. I was going to read it, and it's only like It's barely 250 pages, but I don't know. I might just read it to see if it's good. The few people who have read this book in like my adult life have all said that they didn't enjoy it. But I also think it's like good to read classics and stuff like that. So I don't know. And then the last one is The Biological Roots of Crime, or excuse me, The Anatomy of Violence, The Biological Roots of Crime by Adrian Raine. I read actually a decent chunk of this book. I still got the bunny-eared. I made it to page 47 of this book. And I remember, again, not disliking it. I remember enjoying it. It just wasn't something I wanted to read at the time. Now, as I'm kind of nearing the end of the Chaos book that I'm reading, this might be like a good follow-up, but I still have 25 minutes that I have to wait like weeks to listen to, which is crazy. I'm not petty about it, I promise. So I don't think I'm gonna read this now. I think I might wait until I finish Chaos, just so I have like it fresh in my mind. And like, not that I don't want to read Pimp, because I do want to read Pimp, but I want to enjoy that, and I feel like I would enjoy Pimp less if I knew I had to read Brave New World after. So I think I'm going to read Brave New World. It's a classic for a reason, right? So like people have to like it. I'm not super pumped. I'm hoping for a 3 out of 5 stars, but we'll see. We'll see. I might have to spark note some stuff in case I don't get like all the analogies or similes or whatever, but hopefully this will be better than I'm expecting. So I think, yeah, we're going to go with Brave New World. From Brave New World, go to Pimp, and then from Pimp, Biological Roots of Crime. Because everything else, all the other books that I want to read, this is the rest of my TBR. This is the 7 books that I have left in my TBR. They're all thick as hell. So I really want to get, whoa, before I make a mess. I really want to get the small books out of the way before I start worrying about the big ones. We're going to start with these. I also do like finishing books in a day. And maybe it's just if I have the time to sit down and read a book all day, maybe that's what I enjoy more than the actual reading of a book in an entire day. But I do enjoy being able to like start and finish a story in one singular day. So I'm going to try and do that with Brave New World, whether I like it or not. Like, I mean, you'll see soon whether I DNF it or not. But hopefully I can get through this today, and then maybe next week or whenever I make another video like this, or whenever I have free time, I can at least start reading Pimp. All right, y'all, you already know the vibes. Get your drinks, no free promo. I got that. I got some water, because we're about to get this reading montage started. On your mark, get set, go. All right, so we're 18 pages into this book. We kind of got a walkthrough of let me make sure I get the name right, the Central London Hatchery and Conditioning Center. We got a walkthrough by the director, which honestly was kind of a pretty boring open to the book. It does set the vibe, though, of a society that is very drab and very kind of just like bleh. And they have the creation and the birthing of humans down to a science, literally an assembly line. So I think the boringness of this introduction kind of served the purpose of introducing this kind of like world where humans are being birthed in an assembly line. So far so good. Again, not like the craziest opening I've ever heard of, but it definitely sets the tone. That's the word I was thinking of, not the vibe. It sets the tone. All right, y'all, so it's been a few hours since we last spoke. I went out, I did some errands. I got a Diet Coke, which was the highlight of my day so far, and I'm about 100 pages. Let me actually give you an exact number. I'm exactly 99 pages into Brave New World. For whatever reason, I got this book confused with, I think it's called Clockwork Orange, whatever that book is, because I know I've seen the movie for Clockwork Orange, but I've never read the book. I got this book and Clockwork Orange completely mixed up. I thought what happened in this book was in Brave New World, which it isn't. So maybe I'll have like a better opinion of this book when I'm done with it, almost 100 pages in, and it's not unenjoyable. My issue with books like these is that when it's so obviously like a look into like a dystopian future, like there's satire, there's commentary, that's what I'm thinking of. There's like satire and there's commentary and there's analogies and all this stuff and metaphors that I'm supposed to get. Normally you can understand that within like the first 25 to 50 pages of the book. Then for me, the real story, like my real enjoyment of the story comes from, okay, well, you've built this premise up, how can you expand on that? I'm not sure if this book has expanded on that just yet. I know I'm only about 100 pages in, but this book is about 250, 256. So I got a little bit more than half of the book to go. So I'm hoping that I can enjoy it a little bit more. I'm not hating it. Like I do think the story we're getting so far and the characters, again, kind of build on that premise that was established in the first chapter when you're going through the hatchery or whatever they called it. I am not overwhelmed. I am not underwhelmed. I am just whelmed about how this story is going so far. So I think I'm going to change, get some stuff around the room done, and then hopefully get another big chunk of this book read. So the next time I see y'all, I can have more to discuss. Y'all, page 139. Where is it? He did the thing. He did the thing. Brave New. He set the title. He set the title of the book. He did the thing. I feel bad every time I start one of these, like, or every time I have started one of these, like, reading in a day videos, because I always tell myself and I tell you guys, yo, I'm gonna read 3 books today, so follow along on my journey. I read 1 book. I read Brave New World. I gotta do a better job of tempering my own expectations and also making sure I don't lie to y'all. But I did finish Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and I have thoughts. I hope I do. I mean, this is my job, but like I'm treating it like a job, so I hope I have thoughts, you know? But truthfully, I thought I knew about 90% of what was gonna happen in this book, but I didn't. I probably knew the 10% left over. That's probably what I knew was gonna happen in this book, and that's only because I had read probably the first chapter or 2 like a few months ago. And this book is kind of like really, like when I was kind of like, I had finished the book and I was trying to like kind of prepare my thoughts for talking to y'all. I think it's a really interesting book to give your thoughts about, because I would argue like the characters in this book are like the least important part. And again, I did just finish reading this like 15 minutes ago. It's probably, I think it's like 9 p.m. right now, 9:30. So I have been reading this all day, but I did just finish reading this book. So that might be like a preliminary thought that I'm sure if y'all want to get in the comments and tell me how I'm wrong, please do. I'm waiting on my first hate comment. But I really do think like part of this whole book was the environment, right? Or the environments that you follow these main characters around. I think obviously like this book does a very good job of building that environment, right? Like the very first chapter, it's just following a group of students, none of our main characters, just a group of students as they walk through this like hatchery and they get explained how children or how humans are born in this society. And so yeah, some characters get introduced. Bernard gets introduced, Benito, I'm just looking through names here, Foster, like all these characters get introduced, and yeah, they're important, and yeah, they have like flaws, and yeah, they go on journeys and stuff like that, but I really do think like it's the environment that makes this book what it is. And I think for me personally, none of that was more evident than my favorite part of the book. My favorite chapter in the book is, I think, chapter 17, if I remember correctly. Let me check. So it's actually chapter 16 and 17 that are my favorite part of this book, where a few of our main characters in this book, which are Helmholtz, Bernard, and John, also known as the Savage, are meeting up with the controller. And the controller is like big dog of Western Europe, right? Like he's the guy whose like main job is to maintain this dystopia, utopia in their eyes, you know, this whole community, this whole like group, everything that they have maintained in this world, in this universe, it is his job to control. And obviously make sure that nothing goes wrong, right? So in this conversation with our 3 characters, and the controller is his name, which actually, he has an actual name, hold up. Mustafa Mond is his name. So the controller, Mustafa Mond. They're having this conversation with him about this utopia that they're in, right? This environment that they're in. And they're going back and forth kind of talking about, you know, is it worth it, right? Like at this point in the book, our main characters have kind of seen, you know, this is the universe that we have been born into, the environment that we have been born into. There are also other possibilities. There's something outside of this, like this order, this future that we have been born into. There's something like above that or beyond that. They're having this conversation with the controller, and the controller like agrees with them, right? Everyone else at this point in this book is like repulsed by any ideas that go outside the norm, but the controller actually understands them. So having someone whose job it is to like uphold the status quo, to create, maintain, and like never jeopardize the status quo, having them have an actual conversation with our main characters about like their worldview and their ideology and why they believe what they believe, and then our main character, specifically John the Savage at this point, like having conversations back and forth about why they think the world should be what it is or what it isn't and things like that, I thought was really awesome. And I think it goes to show that like I was far more interested in the universe that this book takes place in, the environment, the rules, the history of this world, because it is like a future version, a darkly satiric vision of a quote-unquote utopian future. But it does take place like the Bible exists, Shakespeare exists. Like these are all things that are mentioned in this book. So like I am more interested in how we went from you and me, you know, our version of history to their version of the future. That time period is what interested me the most. The story in and of itself is fine, you know, but I was really, really interested in the environment and this future that Huxley was able to create. And it's something that hopefully like I want to do more research and see if someone has like delved into this topic more, because like I said, I really do think it's the environment and it's the world and the world building that makes this book what it is. And with all due respect, like I know a lot of stuff happens to the characters in this book. If you've read this book, and I'll go into it a little bit more in my October wrap-up video, but like if you've read this book, you know some of the journeys that the characters go on. That was quite literally take the journey that these characters have been, get it out of here, because it's not important. Or maybe let me rephrase that. It's not that it's not important, I just wasn't interested in it. While I do think that some of the journeys that specifically John the Savage goes on, and Bernard's like whole being from like a middle class to like the upper echelon back down to the middle, like it's a journey, and like some of y'all might be interested in following the journey of these characters. I just think the world, this future, this utopia, if you want to call it that, was so interesting that I cared more about that than the actual journey the characters were going on. So I think just like coming into this book and finding something that like I actually enjoyed and something that kept me reading, I think is a W. That's it. Like I enjoyed the read. I'll think about it a little bit more before I film my October reading wrap-up video. Say that a bunch of times fast. But I'm sitting at like a solid 3-star for this. Like I enjoyed the environment. I cared less about the characters than I thought I would. But I enjoyed the good read. I think to kind of wrap up my rambling here, I think if you've never read this book before, I think it's worth a read. Obviously, like it's a classic for a reason, and I think even if they're hard to get through, I talked about this in I'm staring at it right now, in my 100 Years of Solitude video. Like books are classics for a reason, right? And I think even if they're hard to read, I think it's worth putting yourself through that. Even if you don't like it, just in layman's term, to see what the hype is about. And if you have read this before and for some reason didn't like it, give it another check. Again, most of us read this, at least I read this, when I was like 16, 17, 18 in high school. So like my thoughts and my mind has changed since then. Bro, my hair looks like someone pay for me to go to Turkey, bro. What is this? But like I said, I think today was a good day of both getting stuff done and reading. I hope that while watching this, y'all were able to get a little break, or maybe you were putting this as background noise while y'all were putting some work in. I got mad respect either way, whether you're relaxing, whether you're grinding, as long as you're doing something, that's all that matters. I really appreciate all the love and support that y'all have been showing me these past few videos, especially with my last video, the Let's Talk About Why Men Aren't Reading video. Oh my God, that immediately, very quickly became my most viewed video. Whether you had a hand in that or if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's awesome. I just want to thank y'all for that. I really do appreciate it. And the support that y'all give me, whether it's with views, whether it's with likes, whether it's with comments, anything, any support that y'all can give me helps me out. And at the end of the day, it also helps you out because it lets me know what y'all want to watch and what y'all like to hear me talk about. But that's going to be it from me, y'all. Any like, comment, subscribe you can give me, I would truly appreciate it from the bottom of my bones. I would appreciate it so much. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed so you get notified every time I upload a video. Next one's going to be out in like a week or so, give or take. And I'll catch y'all then. Peace.